Welcome back to the Limitless Health Podcast. We have Ray Hicks with us, well known as Carnivore Ray in social media land. And he is going to talk to us about the carnivore diet and the amazing transformation it has had for him and his health, and just sharing a lot of information, tips, and tricks as far as how he's come along in this journey. Because I think it's been about almost 11 months for you. Is that right?
Almost a year. Yeah.
That's
August 1st
incredible.
will be 1 year.
Fantastic. I should say thank you for being on with us as well. We really appreciate you coming on and speaking to us all things carnivore.
I'm honored to be here.
Fantastic. Where did you first hear about the carnivore diet? How did you come into this world and what got you started?
Yeah. When I first heard about it, first I thought that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. That's that's not healthy. I saw a clip of Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson talking about the carnivore diet. And Joe Rogan, I can understand his speech. Jordan Peterson, I have to slow it down. Really got to try to understand. But you have Jordan Peterson, who I admire very much. That's somebody I look at and go, he wouldn't flippantly talk about things.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Rogan, maybe, who knows? But hearing Jordan Peterson talk about how him and his daughter have done it for years and how it's helped them with a slew of, issues, either mentally or autoimmune related, I'm thinking, okay, that's really cool. I resonate with, the mental health, the depression that they faced, and seeing them become healed from that through diet. I thought that's interesting. And then Joe Rogan, he's talking about, he felt mentally sharp. He lost weight really quickly, and I had a lot of weight to lose. I was 295 pounds, a lot of excess weight that I was just carrying around. And so really, for me, I'm thinking, okay, I don't think this is healthy. It doesn't sound healthy. At least it's counterintuitive to anything I've ever been told or taught about health. But how detrimental could doing something for 30 days be? And so that's what I did. August 1st, 2023, I started the carnivore diet. And I didn't think I'd stick to it. But I genuinely thought I would cheat within a couple days and have some ice cream or pizza or who knows. But I felt normal days 1 and 2. I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel like I was dieting. The third day, I felt phenomenal. Like I felt really, really good. Mentally, that was probably the biggest thing that I noticed is, wow, I feel like I'm taking happy pills. What's going on here?
That's amazing for day 3.
It really is. And to be fair, everything I've experienced, I would say I've had somewhat of a unique experience. Some people experience things very quickly. I would say most, it takes weeks or months. Mine was all within a matter of days. And so mentally feeling really good. I'm talking, there are no issues in life. And if there's an issue, I can fix it. And if I can't fix it, I'm not worried about it. Which, coming from somebody who's battled depression from a very early age, who's used antidepressants successfully, it felt genuinely like I was taking happy pills. And not only that, so I feel good when I wake up. I crawl out of bed. My knee doesn't hurt. That's odd. I've had knee pain for 12 years. It doesn't hurt. I fully extend it, which I've not been able to do for over a decade without having some kind of sharp knee pain. And that was due to a surgery I had, in my earlier years. I had 60% of my meniscus removed. And so I'm thinking that's odd. Weight loss will definitely help with joint pain, but I'm still 290 plus pounds at this point. And so I don't think I lost enough weight to have some severe impact on my joints. Yeah. But those two things right there. Third thing I'll say, I felt skinny. I was not skinny, but I really felt skinny. You rid yourself of so much bloat and excess inflammation. I truly felt phenomenal. And so that third day, I think, was very pivotal for me to not just, well, if I'm craving something, I'm just going to give into it. I just felt so good. I thought to myself, I'm not going to jeopardize this. I'm just going to keep going. And so fast forward, day 30. So we're at August 30th, August 31st, and I'm down 35 pounds.
Wow.
Which, you can lose weight doing anything, but that's a lot of weight to lose in a very short amount of time. And weight loss is not foreign to me. I've been fat before, and I've been fit before, and I got fat again, and now I'm fit again. And so I know how to lose weight. It's something, unfortunately, I'm very good at. You know, if I ever get big again, I can get small again. But I have never lost it that fast, and that, I would say, easy. It truly felt easy for me, and that's not everybody's experience, but it felt just so easy. And so I just kept doing it and kept doing it, and just learned more about what really works well for my body, and, you know, things to tweak for me, whether it's water intake or, you know, fat intake or electrolytes or salt or you name it. But it absolutely changed my life. And while weight loss is great, weight loss, I could have experienced everything that I did and not lost a pound of weight. I think I would have stuck to it. I've never felt this good in my life, ever.
That in itself is a huge statement for everyone out there who's looking for weight loss. That is huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or anything, right? It's like what keeps you committed to doing any diet. And yeah, okay, weight loss. And like you said, you could do other diets. You know how to lose weight, but it's like joint pain gone in 3 days is huge for anyone who's dealt with joint pain. Like I know we have clients, and I have some elderly family members that joint pain is always a thing. And so they can't travel and they can't do the things they want to do because of joint pain. And it's like, if you would just change your diet, it could make a difference. But people are like, well, you know, it sounds really not healthy. How do you deal with that when people question if it's healthy or if it's good for you?
Oh, yeah, which is all the time, by the way. First things first, you have to acknowledge that that's a reasonable assumption to make. But when I first heard about it, that was my thought process too. That's not healthy. Where do you get your vitamins and minerals from? No fiber. I used to eat and drink fiber religiously. This is not healthy. And then if you just Google, is eating a lot of meat good for you? It's going to say no. Yeah. And so if somebody thinks carnivore is not healthy, that's completely rational. So I never demonize somebody for that. I think if they spent 20 minutes doing actual research, not just Googling and then looking at the first thing that pops up, I think they could come to a rational conclusion that, hey, whether this is great long-term or short-term, I think that this could be beneficial for right now. And so it really comes down to educating of, okay, where do you get your vitamins and minerals from? Meat. Okay, but all of them, at the minimum, all the ones that you need. Okay, but what about vitamin C? Well, there's vitamin C in meat. Is there enough? Well, there's not much, but you're not consuming any carbs. And so your body just tends to operate really well. I'm curious for you guys, but something that I noticed, I used to get sick very often. Every other month, I'd get sick for 1 to 2 weeks out of the month. And it would be body aches and chills and severe, you know, sinus infection. And it was horrible. It's a lot, especially, you know, a week or 2 out of the month, every other month. I don't ever get sick anymore. Or if I do, it's just like a little drip in my nose. I don't feel sick. I feel the exact same. It's just, okay, now I'm going to blow my nose.
The load on the body, what it has to take care of is way less because you're not eating processed food. It's simple whole foods and no sugar, or at least very minimal.
Yeah.
It's as we say, the greatest elimination diet ever that's actually supporting your body and building the body back up when you need to.
Yeah.
And the nutrients that you're getting in the meat as well is much more bioavailable than anything you're going to get in plant foods, or if you are taking supplements. I mean, some supplements are better than others for sure, but we've definitely found, I know when we did last time, it was trying to eat liver was a challenge. But learning to find nose to tail beef that at least has the organs ground into it, because I know there is a lot of vitamins and nutrients in the organ meat as well. And there's so many other factors too, in terms of the stress on your body and the stress in your life. But I agree with you, we never get sick. And there's a big change. I'm right, Amanda, right? I never get sick. I should just
pretty much, unless there's something extra stressful going on. That's pretty much accurate.
Yeah.
The bioavailability too, I think that's such an important note to make. Yeah, I mean, gosh, the supplement market.
Mm-hmm.
We sell all these supplements for all these different vitamins and minerals, and most of them, you take them and your body's doing nothing with it. You're peeing it out immediately. And meat, your body just, it utilizes those vitamins and minerals. And so it's truly incredible. That's why I think so many people heal through carnivore. I don't think meat is some magic food, but when you get rid of all of the junk, and then your body's actually able to absorb the nutrients that you're eating, our bodies just start operating like they're supposed to. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, it's a friend of ours or a colleague, I guess, always says your body is always trying to heal itself. And what we need to figure out, if you're not able to, or if you're getting sick all of the time, what's getting in the way or what's missing. And I think the carnivore diet on its own does a really good job of that, because you are getting such valuable nutrients from the food that you're eating, but you're also eliminating a lot of those things that get in the way. The fillers, the chemicals, the heavy metals, the plastics, even that can be in some of the food and beverages that we consume. And so giving your body the support to do what it's meant to do naturally, and then getting rid of the things that get in the way of it doing that, makes a huge difference. I mean, I had MS in the past, and carnivore was a big part of my healing journey as well. It was like the end point where the last of the symptoms that I had went away. So Michaela Peterson's story was very pivotal to me too, because I was like, oh, autoimmune stuff. Okay, this is something that I can do for myself. And that's what I find so powerful about this for people versus, oh, just take this pill, is it's you're taking your power back. And it's like, what can I do for my own health to get healthier and to help move forward and feel better and get rid of the aches and joint pains, and get rid of the brain fog, get rid of the low energy, get rid of the anxiety, the depression. Yes, health problems do exist. I'm not dismissing that at all, but what if you could do something for yourself? And we're not taught that often, right? It's like your doctor is the magic answer. So
Yeah,
very, very important.
that's so true. The longer I'm on carnivore, the more I realize just how pivotal diet is.
Hmm.
I believe if folks got their diet in check, and it would look different for everybody. I'm not somebody that believes, hey, everybody needs to be carnivore. This is exactly how every human needs to eat. I do believe that 99.9% of people that did it for, let's say, 3 months, I bet they would feel the best they've ever felt in their life, but they would get bored and they would want to add foods back in. And if they just did that and did it slowly, they could pinpoint exactly what their body thrives on. And for some folks, that would be certain vegetables or certain fruits, or more dairy or less dairy or fish or whatever it be. And it all, at the end of the day, carnivore is just an extreme elimination diet. And
Yep.
I think it's the most effective one. You know, if you have a slew of issues and we start by, okay, we're going to eliminate grains, and then, okay, that didn't work, so we're going to add those back in, and we do dairy. And, you know, you just, it's such a long process to do it reverse carnivore style. Carnivore just eliminates it to, hey, you will thrive on this, and then we'll just slowly add it back in. I love efficiency. I would, if I had a slew of health issues, I would really like to nail it in the bud as soon as possible. I don't want it to be a 2, 3, 4, 5 year long process to figure out what can I eat to feel good.
It's interesting too, when we've done the carnivore diet, still doing it, your taste sensitivities really change. So if you're adding in something that is a bit sweeter, it's way more sweet than you could ever imagine. So as you're saying, adding things back in, even just the sensitivities are more so. So you really know, okay, this doesn't make me feel good. I probably shouldn't eat this, or just as far as honing in on what works best for your own body makes it, I think, even more efficient.
I agree. Our palates heal. It truly is a beautiful thing. You know, it's amazing to fruit, for example. I haven't had fruit this whole time, this whole past 11 months. I bet if I had an apple, never been a huge apple guy, I bet it would taste like a mouthful of sugar. And I bet it would be good. Versus before carnivore, being a huge ice cream guy, apples taste kind of sour. And so, yeah.
It's true. What are some of the biggest misconceptions that you've seen around carnivore diet?
Good question. First one would be that where are you getting your fiber from? You can't function without fiber. You know, you're going to have horrible bowel movements. You're going to become constipated. Not true whatsoever. I do think fiber is very beneficial, particularly if you eat a highly processed diet. I think it's going to be very good for those people to help get that out of you as soon as possible. And that's how I used to operate. Anything that I ate, I thought if I could get it out of me super fast, then I'm going to be skinny and I'm going to be healthy. And that's good. But my mindset has changed so much of, well, hold on. Food, anything we consume, whether it's a beverage or food in itself, it's supposed to be some sort of nutrients for our body. Our body's supposed to utilize that. And so the goal isn't to burn it as quick as possible. The goal is for our body to utilize it. And so when we have this understanding that you need fiber to have a healthy gut, I really don't think that's true. My gut is the best it's ever been. I've seen people with actual gut issues heal them not having any fiber for years. And so the fiber myth, again, I think fiber is really beneficial with certain diets, like a standard American diet. When you're eating nothing but nutrient rich, very bioavailable food, fiber, it becomes just unnecessary.
Yeah.
Second thing I would say, kind of along the same lines, is just that you're not going to get all the nutrients that you need. It's not true. Now, I am a believer in eating from head to tail. I do think that it's worth getting organs in. There's some folks that would disagree. And to be fair, there's studies that are being done that, hey, we monitored people that included organ meat. We monitored people that didn't. And really, there wasn't a huge outcome. I view consuming organs, whether it's a supplement or you're eating liver. I like liver now because my palate's changed. I used to hate it, but now I'll actually crave it every once in a while. And so the way I view it is like taking a multivitamin. Is it necessary to wake up and breathe every single day? Probably not. Is it going to hurt you? Also probably not. Is it going to be beneficial in the long run? I'm going to assume probably. And so, yes, every vitamin and mineral that our bodies need, we can get it from meat. And that was such a foreign thought to me. And that's most people's thought process when they hear meat. What? No. Where are you getting the nutrients from? And so those would be the two: fiber and just nutrients in general.
Nice. It's funny when you just mentioned where do you get your nutrients from? When we've mentioned carnivore to people, they almost kind of glitch a little bit. What do you mean? You don't eat vegetables? It's kind of fun to watch a little bit.
It's comical. And then,
it is.
Yeah, I'm not saying vegetables don't have nutrients. They do. It's just our body doesn't use most of them. And so, it's like buying the supplements. You could take all the supplements in the world, but if your body's not utilizing them, what are you doing?
Waste. It's a waste, right? And like the vegetables, I mean, they have anti-nutrients as well because they don't want you to eat them.
Yeah.
And there's also the concept of like, okay, so you're eating all these vegetables because you want all these vitamins. And again, if your body's not able to use it, that's going to be a problem. And then the fiber, people are like, oh, you need fiber or you're not going to poop. And it's like, well, actually, the reason you get large bowel movements and it's so consistent is because you're eating all these things that your body is not actually using. So when you're eating things that your body is more efficiently using, you're not going to poop as much, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be constipated. But I agree. I think that fiber through your system is important because it's cleaning up the gut. Also can cause inflammation though, which is not beneficial to you. So that one's an interesting one. Fiber, we've definitely heard. What's your cholesterol like? We've definitely heard. And like, don't you get bored? Steak every day?
I don't see a problem.
No.
I love it. I think we are lucky because I have come across an ample amount of people that have done carnivore for an extended period of time, and they did get bored. I just love it. I could eat ground beef and eggs for the rest of my life, and I would be content. Not even the cream of the crop foods for carnivore.
Yeah.
I love it. It is so good to me. And so I can understand the don't you get bored, but even the cholesterol. Oh, that one fires me every single time. And we're given, there's just so much information out there.
Hmm.
And if you just track where information comes from, I think, again, any logical, rational thinker would see that, okay, maybe just cholesterol isn't the pinnacle of health. Maybe that shouldn't be the ultimate marker of, am I healthy?
Hmm. Here's just kind of a fun one. What's the strangest or most unusual carnivore meal you've tried?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm so basic. I really am basic. I keep my meals simple. I'm not the person that's out here trying to figure out how to do carnivore pizza or carnivore ice cream or, fill up carnivore cake or bread. Just give me some meat and I'm good with that. Um, Strangest, I don't even know if I have an answer for that. I wouldn't say this is strange, but maybe beef tartare. So raw beef, but no fancy meals. I like the simplicity.
Amazing. In my opinion, that's why you're not bored too.
Mm,
Yes,
Because the
absolutely.
last time that I did carnivore, it was trying to make the carnivore, the pizza, and
Hmm.
eating pork rinds and eating chicken and pulled pork and a variety of other things. And I don't remember why. It stopped at 18 months, but it was, we got bored. And
mm.
that doing just beef, butter, salt, you don't get bored, which is
Oh,
pretty cool. What's your favorite cut of steak?
oh gosh, I hate answering this because I feel like it's so basic. I love ribeyes. For me, a
Hmm.
ribeye has the perfect amount of fat and protein. I like a good amount of fat. Like Wagyu's good. I just like meat. I want a good amount of fat, but I
Hmm.
like meat. And so ribeye for me tends to have that
Hmm.
perfect fat to protein ratio. But that's everybody's favorite. Just give me a ribeye.
It's
I
true.
wouldn't argue.
I never used to be a ribeye person, and now it's my favorite for sure. Um,
Oh,
how long into this journey did it take you to start like chomping on butter?
I would say by month 3 or 4, somebody had asked the question in the comment section on one of my videos, hey, how do you deal with sweets cravings? And I didn't have an answer because, again, by the third day, I really was just craving meat. I
Hmm.
didn't crave any of the old foods that I ate. Somebody else replied to them and said, hey, this sounds strange. Have a little piece of butter. If you want to get really weird with it, slice it up into thin pieces, put it in the freezer, gives it a nice little crunch. It's almost like a little ice cream treat. And I'm
Mhm.
thinking, yeah, okay, weirdo. And so
Flash
whatever,
forward.
I'll give it a shot. And so I started with the slicing the thin little pieces and putting it in the
Mhm.
freezer. Tried it. Sure enough, it's probably me lying to myself. And I'm like, this is kind of sweet. And it does give it a nice little crunch. Reminds me of eating just a frozen ice cream treat.
Yep.
I start seeing other people actually eating butter. I grew up on margarine, and
Mhm.
on toast, I think most things on toast probably taste good because you're eating toast.
Yep.
And so margarine on toast, okay. Margarine by itself, ugh, no, icky. And so the idea of eating butter straight, I just compared the two. It's probably going to taste disgusting. Come to find out, it tastes phenomenal. It really does taste so good. I tell people all the time because they always ask, "Do I have to eat that much butter?" No, you don't. Eat your body's desire, but I love it. I eat it in all forms, whether frozen or just thawed or sitting in the fridge. It's so good.
Awesome.
Amazing.
For anyone out there who's listening and maybe considering doing the carnivore diet, are there any specific challenges you faced, or maybe you heard from other people that they face when they started eating this way?
Oh yeah, I would say the two biggest ones. So let's go over bowel movements. You will have one of two experiences. Likely, you will either be in the boat that, hey, I haven't gone in 5 days. Am I going to die? And let me just tell you, no, probably not. Your body's just adjusting. And there is an adjustment period for most people. And that may be days and it may be weeks. And occasionally it could be months before, hey, I feel now I'm kind of finally in the groove of my body's operating like a well-oiled machine. If you can't stop going, you have diarrhea and you can't trust a fart. Again, I would say, hey, deep breath, relax, your body's transitioning. And hey, after a few weeks, if that's still the same thing, let's maybe look at cutting back on the fats. For some people, you can consume too much fat. And usually you'll know that once you go to the bathroom, hey, maybe I should cut back on the fats. And so that would be one thing, is the bowel movements. The second thing would be fatigue or lightheaded or dizzy. Hey, why am I experiencing this? Or even heart palpitations. That's something I had within the first week. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, they were right. I'm going to die. this is not good. And it really just boils down to, hey, you're not consuming carbs. Your body really doesn't hold on to water very well, which is a pivotal thing for our health and just overall well-being. You need to be very intentional with salt, good salt, getting an ample amount, and or electrolytes. Some folks say, hey, you don't need electrolytes. And I would agree. You would need to use a lot of salt if that was the case. I'm very pro electrolytes, especially if somebody's an athlete or if they train very hard in the gym. There were a couple times that I found myself like on the verge of seeing stars. And it turns out I was just dehydrated. And I'm a big water drinker. So those that drink a lot of water, you might think, well, how am I dehydrated? Well, water without the minerals, you're not hydrating yourself. You're actually going to help yourself become dehydrated.
Yeah.
Because any of the minerals that you do have, you're just flushing them all out. And so those would be the two biggest things. Bowel movements, take a deep breath. It will normalize. And by the way, not going to the bathroom every single day, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're constipated. I would say if you're in pain, sure, let's find a way to get it. Do a vigorous workout, drink more water, up your fats, take magnesium. And one or all of those things will help you have a great bowel movement.
Yeah.
You don't have to go 2 times a day. You may develop a new normal, and that's okay.
Exactly.
And as we already said, you're eating efficient food, so you're not going to have as much coming out of you anyway.
Yeah.
There's that to consider too.
Yeah. And digestion changes so much too when you're carnivore. Like bloating is not a thing anymore. And gas, well, is very rarely a thing anymore. And so yeah, if there's something going on at the beginning, it will get better. But to look at it like I'm an 80s baby. And so eat more fat and salt your food are both like no, those are not good things because fat will make you fat and salt will give you heart disease and so many misconceptions that I grew up hearing all the time. And it was definitely foreign at first to like dump salt on my food. And my parents looked at me like I was crazy, but whatever. But so you have a group now, right? You're helping people with starting a carnivore diet?
Yeah. So 30 days with Carnivore Ray. I'm pretty adamant about telling folks, hey, this is not necessary. My goal for starting this wasn't how can I make a profit? I don't do carnivore for a living. I have a career. It's not social media. I believe the carnivore diet is one of the, if not the simplest diets to follow. Like I genuinely view it as that simple. And I think that there's so much information out there. If somebody did want to do carnivore, all they had to do is just type in how to do carnivore. And if they just spent 20 minutes looking it up, they could figure out exactly how to start. And if they don't want to do that, I think they could go through any one of my social media platforms. And if they just scrolled through my videos, they would get a very strong grasp on how to start and how to feel good while starting, not have, lightheaded spells or dizziness and, the bowel movements. All of that information I put out there. I'm not the person that is going to tease people with, hey, if you want to know the answer, come join my group. All the resources are there. But for some reason, it's still daunting. It's like baking a cake for the first time or making a steak, right? it took months before I really started eating steak often on carnivore. It's just, it wasn't in the budget and seems daunting. You know, I don't want to spend a lot of money just to mess it up. And come to find out, it's really, really easy, like extremely easy. Anyways, for some folks, it's still daunting. And so the carnivore community that I hold, I would say the true benefit of it is the community itself, because there's a classroom setting. I have multiple videos going very in depth into the most asked questions, whether it's fiber or supplements, or, you know, how do I expedite results, or, you know, can I have seasonings? There's a whole library of the videos. All that can be found on my page. You just have to, you know, scroll and find it. The community aspect, I think that human beings, we tend to thrive within a good community. We could be anywhere in the world, but if we have good community or bad community, that will make or break our quality of life or our success on our endeavors. And so there's places where they can, you know, share their highs. Hey, I'm down 20 pounds this month. Oh my gosh. Then you have all these people, you know, celebrating you, hyping you up. And then on the flip side, hey, I'm really struggling. I'm, you know, experiencing this, or everybody in my family tells me I'm crazy. And to be able to go and talk with other like-minded individuals, that's phenomenal. And then, you know, twice a week, we do a 1 hour Zoom call and we just talk. And it's really just like this. It's just like talking to a friend. And of all the things that the community offers, I think the only thing that I see value in is the community aspect, because carnivore is that simple.
Yeah, definitely. And I agree with you get frustrated with posting anything on social media and getting haters attacking you and family holding a like group chat with you to say like, oh, you're going to get heart disease, this is a horrible diet, and people just don't understand. So to be in a community of people, yeah, where you can celebrate your wins and you can also ask for feedback, for support when you need it, I think that's super valuable, because community is such a big part of what we are as humans and how we became like how we are on the planet today. So
Yeah.
where can people find you? I found you on TikTok. Is that your number one, or?
Yeah, so TikTok and Instagram, just Carnivore Ray. I think Instagram's Carnivore Ray _ because the other one was taken. But I do YouTube as well. I don't do YouTube well, or I don't do it how you're supposed to do it. I don't do long form content. It's any video that I post, you can find it on every platform: Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. It's all there. And if you search Carnivore Ray, it will pop up as one of the first names. I'm on Twitter, or X, as well. Again, not big on it. I'm not the social media guru. I'm not even a fan of social media. This just happened. I just share my thoughts, and I share other people's testimonies and my testimony. And for whatever reason, people tend to be intrigued by it. But any of the social media platforms, Carnivore Ray, that's where I'm at.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is there any one key message that you want to leave the listeners with, or a message that people are considering carnivore, or just what would be the message you would want to leave people with?
Great question. It sounds nuts. So if you think that is very rational, but you also don't know until you know. And so at the end of the day, there's very, very few individuals who will do carnivore and do it indefinitely. You will likely do this for a period of time and then add foods back in, and that's okay. Your ultimate goal should just be to find out, what foods do I thrive on? And if you can do that, forget the weight loss, just becoming your best physical self, mentally, physically, spiritually, however you want to classify it. I promise you, it is so worth it. If you change your diet, it will change every other aspect of your life. And so experiment. There's nothing wrong with experimenting. If you do it for a week, you do it for a month, you do it for 5 years, it's okay. It's going to be well worth it.
Fantastic.
Amazing. Well, my last question for you. How do you respond when people tell you you're crazy?
Yeah, I agree. probably for different reasons, but yeah, if that's the worst that you can say, you must not know me very well, because there's other things to attack. Just kidding. But I don't get that as much now, at least in person. Social media is different because people can and will say anything behind a keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
Very few will say it to your face. Whether it's in person, in the beginning, I had a lot of people say, hey, that's not healthy. And now most of those people have asked me how to start.
Yep.
And so I let the results speak for themselves. I don't have acid reflux after I eat. I don't feel dog tired after I eat. I don't have joint pain anymore. I have all the energy in the world. My workouts are fantastic. And if they don't experience one or all of those, one of us is doing something right, and one of us could probably change something. And so it's been funny to watch people change their tone of voice
Mm-hmm.
towards carnivore. But as far as online people, hey, this is bad, you could do anything and somebody's going to have something to say about it. Anything. I don't care if it's the most studied diet or at least studied diet, or if you're sucking on rocks and trying to convince people that that's healthy, somebody will have an opinion. And that's okay. At the end of the day, if there's more or less carnivores in the world, or if they're happy with what I'm doing with my life or not happy, I sleep really, really good at night. And that's enough for me.
Perfect. They're judging themselves,
Mhm.
is what I always try and help clients and people understand. If someone is judging you, like you could go out and you could order an extra large pizza for yourself and get a case of beer and all of the desserts on the menu, and no one would bat an eye.
Mhm.
But then you do something different and they're judging themselves when they look
Yeah.
at what you're doing. So, I mean, they're going to judge you either way. So why
Mhm.
not do something that makes you feel good? So thank you so much for joining us today. This has been great. We are going to share all of Ray's contact information in the show notes, so make sure you check that out. Check him out on TikTok. His videos are hilarious. I was looking for the slogan that you have on a t-shirt when I asked you that question.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead. I don't
Um,
give a
there it is. And
yeah.
yeah, very valuable information and just makes carnivore simple, which is amazing and doable for people. So thank you again for listening, and we will see you on the next one.